Okay, let's dive right in and talk about a critical set of rules that govern sailing in the planet's absolute iciest, most dangerous waters. We're talking about the Polar Code.
We're starting at the very top and bottom of the world. You see, as the ice in the Arctic and Antarctic melt, it's doing more than just changing the environment. It's literally opening up brand new highways for ships. Think tourism, trade, you name it, right through areas that were once totally impassable.
But here's the thing. Navigating these new routes, it comes with a whole set of dangers that are really in a class of their own.
I mean, just try to picture this for a second. You've got sea ice that can literally crush a ship's hull like a tin can. Temperatures so brutally cold that steel can become brittle and just shatter. And you are days, not hours, from any kind of search and rescue team. You might be sailing in total darkness for months on end in a place where your GPS and radios can get all messed up. It's a place where one small problem can spiral into an absolute catastrophe in a matter of minutes.
So to even begin to manage these incredible risks, the international maritime community knew they couldn't just use the regular old rulebook. They needed something specific, something robust.
And that's where the Polar Code comes in. It was developed by the International Maritime Organization, that's the IMO, and you can think of it as the official specialized rulebook for any voyage in the poles. Its entire job is to cover all the crazy things that regular maritime law just doesn't account for.
The whole code is really built on two simple but super powerful ideas, kind of like two pillars holding it all up. First, you've got safety. That's all about protecting the people and the ship from the brutal polar environment. And second, you have pollution prevention, which is about protecting the pristine environment from the ship. So it's like a two-way shield.
So how exactly does the code do that? How does it make a ship truly ready for these conditions? Well, it all starts with the very bones of the vessel itself.
And right away, you see that not all ships are created equal. The code breaks them down into categories based on what kind of ice they can handle. Category A ships, those are the real heavy hitters, built for thick, first-year ice. Category B is for thinner ice, and Category C is really for open water. The bottom line is, you absolutely have to have the right ship for the right ice conditions. No exceptions.
And the level of detail here is just, wow. The code gets into the specific type of steel you have to use, making sure it won't get brittle and fracture in that extreme cold. It forces you to design machinery so it can't suck in ice. And get this, ships have to run stability calculations that account for the massive, massive weight of ice that can build up on the decks and surfaces.
But look, a polar-ready ship is only half the story. The code also puts a huge focus on the people on board. Because, let's be real, even the best-built ship in the world can find itself in serious trouble.
I mean, it is the absolute nightmare scenario, right? Abandoning ship into freezing water or onto shifting sea ice when you are hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles from the closest help.
5. What is this number? Well, it's the bare minimum number of days that every piece of survival equipment on that ship has to be able to support life.
As because the code has this term, maximum expected time of rescue, and it officially sets it at no less than 5 days. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. When you climb into a lifeboat in the poles, you have to be prepared to survive, completely on your own, for almost a week before help might even get there. It's just a stark reminder of how truly remote these places are.
So to meet that 5-day challenge, the code requires this incredible amount of specialized gear. We're talking fully insulated immersion suits for every single person, group survival kits that have tents and sleeping bags in case you have to abandon ship onto the ice, and of course, enough food and water to last the whole time. Okay, so we've talked a lot about protecting the ship from the environment. Now, the code does this really critical flip. It's also laser-focused on protecting the environment from the ship. And this brings us back to that second pillar, and it is so vital because these ecosystems are incredibly fragile. A small spill up there can have devastating effects that last for decades.
The rules for pollution here are some of the strictest you'll find anywhere on the planet, and it all starts with the one thing that powers pretty much every ship: oil.
And the rule could not be clearer or more absolute. You are permitted to discharge zero oil or oily mixtures into Arctic waters. That's it, period. It's a total zero-tolerance policy.
And that exact same ban applies to what are called noxious liquid substances. So think things like industrial chemicals. Nothing harmful gets dumped. End of story. Even the rules for everyday waste are just as strict. Sewage has to be treated before it's released, and even then, it has to be far away from any ice. And garbage? Well, only finely ground up food waste is allowed.
and everything else has to be stored on board and brought back to port. The goal is to leave absolutely no trace.
So when you put all of this together, all the safety rules and all the environmental rules, what the Polar Code really does is create one single unified standard that everybody has to follow.
And this quote from the code's introduction really says it all perfectly. It's about increasing safety and mitigating the impact in these remote, vulnerable places. It just makes sure that every ship from every country is playing by the same set of very high-stakes rules.
So that's really the Polar Code in a nutshell. It's a shield for the ship, beefing it up against the ice and the cold. It's a survival guide for the crew, getting them ready for the worst-case scenario. And it's a guardian for the environment, protecting one of the last truly pristine places on our planet from us.
And that really leaves us with a huge question for the future, doesn't it? Because as these waters get busier and busier with more ships, the risks, well, they don't go away, they just multiply. The Polar Code is a living document, and its ability to adapt and evolve is going to be absolutely critical for the future of safety and the environment at the very ends of the Earth.